Okay, good morning. I'd like to call the meeting of the Albany Parking Authority to order for November 21st. In attendance are board members Saponis, Jones, Pettit, and Burke. And could I get a motion to accept the minutes of October 31st?
So moved.
Second.
Second. Any board members have any additions, deletions, concerns about the minutes? Hearing none. All in favor of moving the minutes?
Aye.
Thank you. Board of Governance Committee.
The Governance Committee met on Friday, November 15th. We are required to conduct an annual evaluation of our performance per the AVO. Individual board members' comments are protected from disclosure, but the summary results of the assessments are provided to the AVO in March and will be reviewed by the board. Confidential board evaluation forms were provided to the board and are due back to Stephanie by the first week of January. Secondly, we reviewed the attainment of performance goals and developed goals for 2025. We reviewed the attainment of our 2024 goals and were satisfied with the results. And we proposed 2 additional goals for 2025. One, becoming more acclimated to our long-term planning, including developing a strategic plan. And second, establishing and promoting the authority's investment, community investment, and outward development. And lastly, the review committee reviewed assignments for rotation. And we made a positive recommendation to the board that committee member Jennifer Saponis become chair of the audit committee and that all other committee assignments stay the same for 2024.
Thank you. Any questions about the report or the actions of the governance committee? You need to take any actions?
No,
We don't, I don't believe it.
No actions
Move on
right
to
now.
Enforcement.
Enforcement numbers.
Congratulations, Jen.
First time hearing about it.
She's like, am I being punished?
I love you.
All right, our enforcement numbers. October was slightly below last year's, or 2023's October, mainly due to some staffing issues. We do have our equipment under control, but all around just a kind of a slow month for October visits.
It's the very last page of the packet.
Last page, though.
Last page. There you are.
Thank you.
Our booting numbers have increased significantly. Now that we got all of our boots in hand, I just want to mention that towing was much higher, is why our boots are look so low to date. So for next year, we should be around the average of 15 to 20,000 for the year for boots. Any questions?
Was October down for any particular reason?
It was just, we had some minor staffing issues, some folks leaving.
So you understand why it's down?
Yeah, 100%.
Wait, what is this permits? I'm sorry, I'm not making that.
That's the residential permits. That's just what the city makes on those today.
Oh, okay, so
yeah.
we've sold 6930.
That's correct. Yep.
Wonder if we should be proactive and advertise that somehow, or get people who don't know anything about their residential permit system, who live in the residential permit area, gets the information they need. What is it, $15? I think it is.
No, I think it's
25.
Yeah.
Or we make more money.
How does somebody find out if they need it from?
Well, it's usually the website.
The landlord has to tell.
Yeah, somebody has to
Yeah.
tell them.
Or they
Somebody
get a
has-
ticket.
Or they
They
get a
get a
ticket.
ticket,
yeah.
Do we make more money on tickets or on permits?
We don't make any money on any of that. It's all the city's money.
We'd rather they knew about it ahead of time.
Altruistically, you know, they should advertise permits.
Sir, we just have to add in the, financial presentation area. Somehow missed the agenda. Sorry about that.
Okay,
Oh,
So if we could move into that,
sure, please.
so,
Mhm. Any further questions on the enforcement?
all right, the October financial review. Our goals and objectives remain the same, wage competitiveness for employee retention, focus on increasing garage occupancy, for capital improvements and safety, camera expansion, heated sidewalks, greenhouse pedestrian walkway, our capital improvement, community enrichment, wayfinding initiative with the downtown bid that's in progress, Quackenbush Square Phase 2, which is also in progress, and the Green Hudson Dog Park, which we're looking to, finish up in spring, summer. Moving on to our October overview. Year to date, our revenue is $7,551,933, with our expenses being $6,139,000. Our operating account is around 1.1 mil, with our payroll account being close to 400,000, with our available cash being 1.5 million. I just want to add that our revenue is about 81% of our budget this year, so we're well on track and then some, as well as our expenses being at 82%. Our revenue, expenses, and income. Our net income for October is $322,000. It's mainly due to we had some major events, fish. What was the other one we had? Fish and Maniscalco. And there was one other large one. John Stewart, thank you. Our expenses are a little lower than last year, at 420 or 523,000. Mostly due to decrease in the M&R expenses, facility repairs and renovation, aesthetics and beautification, et cetera. Moving on to parking revenues, our projections versus actuals. October was higher than the projections due to the daily and event revenue, obviously. It's another huge month for us for events. Significantly higher.
It's so interesting because you can't really trend that
No,
accurately at all.
Right.
So it's just-
I think the most lead time we get is like, if we're lucky, a couple months, you know?
I mean, fish, we got 3 weeks.
Yeah. So,
That's fine.
Is that how the venue operates?
Fish is a different type of thing. They sell out instantly, so they don't have to promote it quickly, and they want to cut
Oh,
down
so-
scalping.
So they wait, they
Yeah,
know they're coming.
yeah, they know, they were working out everything probably about a month and a half prior to it being announced, but it wasn't official until about 3 weeks out.
And then, you have a big show canceled, and all of a sudden numbers are
Yeah.
off, so it's just an interesting part of our business.
right. Moving on to our expenses, projections versus actuals. Our expenses were only 11,000 higher than our projections, just odds and ends of certain repairs, or a couple thousand here, a couple thousand there for just some items that we weren't prepared for. A couple of snow melter repairs, et cetera. Nothing major. Our meter revenue, it continues to trend over projections. We're about $21,000 higher than projections in October. Again, it's mainly due to the trend of our large Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday with the hybrid schedule, and also some of the events have a lot to do with that as well. People just getting in early to park. They don't want to park in a garage. They like to be close to the venue. And our meter daily average, we're still right on par with our daily average. This doesn't include our baggings, because it would actually be slightly larger, but we just like to compare the actual meter revenue, not bagging or anything else to do with it. We just like to know what is actually coming in, what people are actually paying for. If that makes sense. And our revenue summary for our monthly and other revenue, we are still having a slight struggle with our monthly revenue. You know, as we discussed, we got a lot of cancellations, some corporate cancellations, some one-offs for our residentials or individuals. I'm sorry, not residentials. So we're continuing to see that trend, but I do want to add that we did sign MBT to not 20 passes, but 32 passes starting in December. So we'll see a slight uptick in that for the beginning of the year.
Is that enough of an uptick to get us to our projection?
I don't think so, but I want to say it'd be halfway there. If
It's gonna be very close.
Yeah.
These projections included the hotel, which never
Mhm.
came to fruition. So that was a really big gap for us to try to overcome this year.
right.
The budget we just adopted, adjusted for that.
Yes.
Yeah. And moving on to our revenue summary for daily garage and lot revenue. Again, we're seeing, you know, just like the meter trend, it's still slightly higher than our projected. Same kind of reasoning. I don't believe that our events are accounted in this number, but it's still exciting to see that it's maintained, you know, such a higher percentage than our projected.
Mhm.
And our summary. So our meter revenue continues to trend higher. We're 8% above projections with our monthly below at 6%. But our daily garage and lot revenue is 23% above our forecasted, and our event revenue is a staggering 73% above our forecasted. Very exciting year for us.
It's actually significant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
I think in the old days, it was like $5,000.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was. You're right.
And you're always right.
We have that on record, Phil?
No.
So that's right. Okay. So just to give you an idea of our year-to-date percent of budget, meter revenue is almost at 90%. So we're right on par, monthly at 82. We think we're going to come in slightly below 100% of budget for that, with our daily being at 90, almost 97%. And our special event revenue at 134%, with our total parking revenue at 81%. So we're right on par with where we need to be. We're just awesome, for the record. Our debt service investment account, we did make 2 transfers in October. Cash flow just allowed us to make a larger deposit in October. So we made a $330,000 deposit. Misty and I are gonna, at the end of the year, we're gonna look at, oh, I'm sorry, that's our long term, not our debt service. Our debt service, we're right on par with where we need to be. But our short-term investment, our short-term investment's around 1.4 mil, 500,000. That is going to the city for our meter licensing agreement, as well as our R&R fund of around 150,000, and our New York State retirement that we pay into for about 322,000, which I believe we get reimbursed for enforcement's portion of that. Around, I want to say it's almost 200 of that, or 100,
140.
something like that. Yeah.
What's the return, give or take?
I think we're averaging around 4.5% to 5% return, if
Okay.
I'm recalling correctly.
And our long-term investment. Misty and I are going to sit down and see what we have left over for the year to decide how much more we're going to put into our long-term. The board had agreed that a 15 to 30% of budget to be invested is ideal. So we're going to continue with that goal.
Yeah. If you recall that, we did a investment policy to make sure we were that. So.
And our EV charging investment account is is trending along just like we thought it would. We're in between $3,000 and $6,000 per quarter. We did get a deposit this month, not shown here. I want to say it was a little over $3,000 there. Yep. So we're doing great with that. We've already identified some repairs that we're going to need to do that this account's going to handle. So it's doing exactly what we needed to do.
Good.
And that concludes our October financial review. Any questions?
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you.
All good, no questions? Or, thank you.
Sure.
Communications is up next.
I have no new communications.
How about that? Well, then let's move to new business.
Great. As I stated before, downtown bid wayfinding sign installation project is well on its way. The installer has been at locations on Broadway, State and Pearl Street. They're just running into a few issues with people moving their cones for their reserve spot. So we're just going to have to beef up some signage over there, help them along a little.
Have we seen what they look like with the new signage?
I did bring it in a few months back.
Yeah.
I can,
No, that's okay. I'm just curious.
yeah, they're nice looking. They're better than,
We've been talking about this for so long, I forget what the new
Yeah.
look like.
no, they're nice looking. I'll make sure at our next meeting, I'll bring in the concepts so you guys can check them out.
John, I'm sorry, I just have a quick question about this. How far back do we have this date?
More than 5 years.
That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, I created this,
Can you see trends of parking moving by zone?
yeah. 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 You know, in this report specifically, it'll show you, you know, zone 100 and all its subzones obviously is our larger,
Right.
you know. our
Which one's
larger-
Albany Med?
That would be the 300s and some of the 400s.
Wow.
Yeah. But Central Avenue is mixed in with that a little bit. You know, I'm glad you brought this up actually, because we're working on making each block its own zone. So each block. So that, you know, in the old days before we had pay by phone, the meters just had an ID on them. So we were able to take the block itself and run revenue data and occupancy and see exactly what it's doing. When we move to pay by phone, the zones are much broader. So we don't really have a full grip on what that occupancy is per block. We have a general idea, institutional knowledge, but being able to zone each block individual will just give us that much more of that info.
Yeah,
So we
my
know exactly what to
initial
do.
reaction was, let's get rid of these small, the small zones. And then it was like, no, we need the data.
Yeah,
The data is cool as shit.
yeah.
How would that work for users if it's by block? So like say if you initially put money in the meter and then you realized you were there longer, if you don't know what zone you're in, how will you know to then utilize the app if you can't make it to your car? If it's
If
block
you
by
use the
block.
app, you know what zone you're in.
But if you didn't initially,
You did initially.
yeah. So then like if it's block by block, so say you're in,
You
you know,
have to.
block
I
101.
think,
No, you don't.
You
You
can
need a
put on a-
multimeter and then
Oh.
use
You
your
can use
phone.
coins
Yeah,
if you
right.
wanted to use the app.
You still have to put in your license plate though, so
Okay.
it might
Right.
link that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we
I'm
can
sorry.
confirm that.
Okay, no problem.
That is a good point, because
Yeah, I mean, usually, you know, because the zone, you know, because people can just pay at whatever meter they want to right now, as long as they're in the zone 100 and they can move around that area, no problem. But I get what you mean if, you know, if they're paying by phone or something like that, it's a little, if they don't know where they are right away and they're in a,
And with that, are we gonna have to have a meter at each block?
no.
Okay, so how will you?
No, so how the app only works is when they pull into the area, the signage is already there to specify what zone they're in. I mean, unfortunately, they have to read. We know the public doesn't like doing that,
Yeah.
but they do have to read the sign to know what zone they're in.
But if it's a different zone per block, how will you know if the meter's not on the block that you're on?
There's physical signage for
Yeah.
saying app only, and on the sign
Oh,
tells you
yeah.
what.
So we'll have to
Number you're in.
increase signage.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, which our pilot, we've been doing that and just, checking on any kind. We haven't gotten any complaints yet about doing the app only, which has been fantastic. So, not to jump ahead on the agenda, but, moving forward, that's really the goal, is to get rid of them. Not all of them. We're not gonna be able to get rid of all physical meters, but, in our general areas that folks are used to using, app only, or their app, are just gonna wanna do that and get rid of our back office expenses and so on. Currently the usage of the app is well over 80%. And credit card usage is well over 90. So it's just the way of the world that physical cash meters are gonna go away.
So with that, do we like have an assessment of sort of like what potential risk could be if something happens to the app?
Yeah, unfortunately, along with our gates at our garages as well, it's all run either through Microsoft or Amazon. And it's funny you brought that up, because today we had a short outage for our park system. And it does either slow down operations or totally cuts off payment options, which goes in a batch for our garages, which is fine. But if it's on the street, we do lose that, unfortunately. Yeah.
How often do you have cybersecurity look at our system?
Every year we have to have a audit of our
Is that
PCI
enough?
compliance and all that. Oh, yeah.
Once a year?
Yeah. ITS, they're really good. We've had them for years, and they've kept us compliant since day one. They're always up to date on everything that we need.
They
also
also
have
monitor.
insurance.
They monitor as well,
audit once a
yes.
year, But they monitor.
Yeah.
Oh,
Make sure.
that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, so
Doesn't
they-
lapse.
Right. So they make sure that we are still in compliance, but like Chris said, they do monitor all year long for data breaches.
No offense, but the Microsoft calls me every week telling me I have a virus on my computer.
Yeah. And
Well,
are you donating your money to the Prince of Persia as well? Or?
No, I like the Nigerian.
Oh, okay.
That's good. Okay,
Thank you.
Yes. Repair and preventative maintenance, still going smoothly. I've mentioned before, the only thing that we had a setback with was, the new entryway at the Hudson Avenue, entry for Green and Hudson, because of fish. We had to put it off. They were supposed to redo the whole entry, last month, but, we were unable to do that. So they're gonna complete that in spring. Heated sidewalks, we're putting a scope together for an RFP, now that it's going into Wick's law because of the electrical element of this. I'm still not very happy with Malloy, who bid on this project because of that. But, we're gonna get through that, and I don't expect the cost of the upgrade to exceed $60,000. And I'll keep everybody updated.
which is within budget or expectation.
Yeah, it's all bonding funds, so, we did save some money on certain projects where we could move this around and not have it be a big deal.
Was
So,
that sort of the difference between this bidder and someone else that may have been exponentially?
almost,
more?
yeah, it's pretty close. Yeah, I think it was about 100,000 between the two bidders, so, yeah. But I'm excited that that's still gonna happen. I would have liked to have happened this year, but it is what it is. Digital display signs, that's underway. They just recently submitted a construction schedule to us, so we expect that to be done by the end of December. And then, okay, to move on to our monthly passes.
I think so.
Any questions so far? Great. All right, so we've had a slight increase for a month over month change of 13. We've gained we've gained about 10 individuals at, Riverfront Garage. Couple residential. We did have some individuals leave us at, the Green Hudson Garage. And we gained a few individuals at Clackamas Garage. So that's nice considering if you look at the page, we've been in the red pretty much all year. So being in the black this month is fantastic for us. And like I said, MPT coming in to change that for us. Any questions?
You said MVP can be about 30.
32, I want to say it was. And they originally said 22, so that's great. And I expect them to actually have a few add-ons, so. Meter updates. The app only pilot program, I am having our operations team identify a few more app only areas to convert in spring. If we do have a decent winter, I may have them do it earlier. But I'm hoping to have about 3 or 4 smaller blocks completed as well as maybe 1 or 2 large major blocks so we can start really testing the waters and how this is going to work. So I'm thinking over in the area of Townsend Park is going to be a big one for us. And the reason for that is because we have a grading issue over there where we can put nothing there but single space meters. It's super hard for the public to pay those because they have to go out into the street around their car, pay the meter that's on the grass. But because the area, it's not quite like downtown, the clientele is definitely different. So we're going to want to pay attention to that and see if, app only will really work in an area like that. App only is in use on the side streets on Central Avenue at the moment, and we haven't had any complaints, although the usage is low over there.
So if you switch over to app only in that spot and it doesn't work out,
We'll have to put, if it doesn't work out where, we start getting complaints,
people just aren't doing it at all.
they're not doing it at all, then,
More likely, because a lot of that, people running in and out of all the, in and out, in and out.
yeah. And, it's really a tough spot, like I said, because of the grade that it's on.
I know.
I did look into putting just one multi-space meter in the black, but there's actually some construction that has to take place in order for us to do that. We actually have to build a small retaining wall around. It's a whole thing, and I don't necessarily think it would be safer for the public to use a multi-space versus a single space. So we'll keep a close eye on that. We're going to want to try that over by Albany Med as well, between Myrtle and Lake. There's a large hill, same kind of issue over there. We'd like to try it over there as well. So, okay.
People over there tend to park for long periods, right? They're kind of going for appointments and things. So
Yeah.
it might work better there.
Yeah, it's the first half of the block, closer to the hospital.
Yeah.
The other half going towards Lake is usually a ghost town, but it's a good spot for EV chargers, I think, anyway. We don't, it hardly sees any occupancy. So,
Which part?
New Scotland Avenue by Albany Med, closer to Lake.
Oh, yeah,
Psych
that's,
center.
yeah, right, that's
Right.
a wasteland.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Put some EV chargers there.
Yes. Yeah. Glad you thought of that.
They're constantly just standing on the other side of the road down, between Holland and New Scotland.
Yeah.
Standing.
Idling.
Oh, I don't.
Yeah.
Well, Starbucks, Panera. All
that's what that is.
all
Yeah.
those places. Yeah.
Yeah, those people.
Those people. Okay.
All right. Moving on to EV chargers. Usage has remained the same. Most of our usage is at Green Hudson, with Quackenbush being a second and Riverfront being the least used. But as I said before, we're still maintaining that 3,000 to 6,000 per quarter. So the usage has not changed very much. And thank you for that info there.
And the ones we just put in the parking lot, so.
Yeah, I don't have any specific data on those yet. I'm gonna talk to NIPA, I wanna say at the beginning of December, just to see how that's working out for them. My guys aren't really up there often enough to get a good.
Yeah, well, I know,
how-
it's early, but I'd be curious to see how those.
Oh, yeah,
pan
me
out,
too,
Because being visible like that, you know,
Yeah.
easy in and out of the parking lot.
Yeah, they're nice
See how well
units.
they do.
They're a little big, but they're nice. My collaboration with CDTA, I actually have a meeting with them this afternoon to figure out what exactly is going on with their drive program. I don't believe that there has been a shovel in the ground, although I was told 3 times in the past year that we were going to get a shovel in the ground each month. So I'm going to talk to Jonathan today and see where we're standing with that. Our grant updates, ESD and ARPA, we are in the home stretch of receiving our reimbursements from both of these projects, and I don't foresee any issues receiving that cash. Steph, we got any other update on that, or is that?
We're just waiting for ESD to send back the final contract for the
Yeah.
closeout, for signature, and then it should be soon after that.
Yeah, because it's only been like, what, 2 years?
You could put a number at the bottom in small print saying same as last.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
good,
yes, sir.
thank you. Is there any unfinished business? No? I would like to go into executive session for a few minutes for letter F. If I could have a motion to go into executive
I
session.
move we go into executive session for.
Second,
Second.
in favor?
Aye.
Okay. If there's no further business to come before the authority, could I get a motion to adjourn?
No
I'm-
action was taken. And
No action was taken in executive session. Thank you very much.
I move we adjourn.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.